So it shouldn't come as that much of a surprise to people that we're hearing there's negotiations between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk for a unification fight. Look, both of these men want to become undisputed. Both of these men want their names to be elevated to the absolute rafters and be talked about for decades to come as a potential all-time great heavyweight. And you only do that when you can completely clean out the division. You only do that when you answer the challenges in front of you. I don't know many people who took Tyson Fury retirement talk seriously. I mean, let's be honest. This dude he's a great trash talker. He's great at riling people up. He's great at negotiations. And he's got his own way of going about everything. So we can even look back and we can see the historical precedent of using retirement as a way to gain leverage in negotiations, as a way to hype up the talks, right? One of the things that was mentioned most recently was the way Evander Holyfield did it in the rematch with Tyson. He wanted more money coming into that rematch. He was trying to get it from Don King. Don King, we know how Don King is, right? He's underpaying everybody, notoriously playing hardball. Holyfield looked over the contract. He said, look, this contract, I'm not going to be in breach. Basically, he goes, I'm not going to be in breach of contract if I retire. So that's it. I'm walking away from the fight. I'm retiring. What are you going to do? Don King wanted the fight to go on, makes him come out of pocket with a little bit more, and we have what we have. So here we have Tyson Fury doing the same thing, coming up with the crazy numbers, $500 million that he wants for the fight and all kinds of stuff. Look, everybody knows that's not going to happen. Everybody knows there's not going to be any kind of upfront money anywhere near $500 million for both fighters combined, much less one. Now, that being said, let's be honest with each other. This is probably going to be the richest fight in boxing history. I mean, right now we're looking at Mayweather-Pacquiao. This one will surpass it. You know, there has only been 4 undisputed heavyweight champions in recent memory. We got Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. That's it. And oh, by the way, that was in the 3-belt era. Right? We entered the 4-belt era in 2004. There's been nobody. Nobody has been able to unify all 4 belts. Now look, that isn't necessarily because there's never been somebody who was clear-cut at the top of the division, right? That's normally what you would think if you think, why haven't the 4 belts been unified? But there's also a whole lot of political garbage involved in that, and, you know, making sure that you keep everybody happy, that you don't get stripped of any of the belts by fighting the mandatories and this and that. So when you can have a unification, it represents not only that you have a man who is supremely skilled and he's separated himself from his peers, but it also shows that he was able to somehow, some way navigate the political swamp that is the boxing organizations, right? Unfortunately, again, of the sport we love. So shouldn't surprise anybody. We see these negotiations taking place. We hear about it happening. Now, some people are throwing out there maybe December. Look, no way. No way. There's no way this fight's going to happen in December. We can list a variety of reasons, but the first thing that comes to my mind is the proper promotion of the fight. We're already at the end of August. They're not going to put this fight in Saudi Arabia on December 17th or wherever they're talking about, somewhere in the Middle East. Maybe it was Dubai or something. But they're not going to put this fight over there on December 17th. You've got all the negotiations that still need to take place. It's just begun. We know that Tyson Fury is going to be in the media saying a whole lot of things in between now and then. Right? Up to and including dismissing his opponents. Dude, the way he talks trash is great. Now all of a sudden he started coming out calling him Alex Usyk instead of Oleksandr Usyk. Just great the way he does stuff, comparing him to Tomas Adamek back in the day. But great stuff. So we're going to see some more things go on. Personally, I've got the feeling that we're going to see this in spring. You know, maybe February, maybe March, somewhere around that timeline. I don't know where it's going to take place. You know, obviously, there's multiple locations that you could see it. There's multiple locations where they could maximize the dollars for this. You go out there, this will be an incredibly huge fight. And let me say one other thing. I think the chance that this happens is about 100%. I really do. And that's because even though Fury talks all the time about how he doesn't care about legacy, he talks all the time about how none of that matters and he's more focused on other things, and he recognizes the fact that when it's all said and done, nobody's going to remember his name anyways. I don't believe it for 1 second. I don't believe what the man says for 1 second when he dismisses legacy as a motivation or he dismisses it as something that he thinks about. He knows how important this is. He knows how big this is. And not only from the historical standpoint of the heavyweight division, just overall, everywhere, heavyweights who've fought. It's big enough with just that. But then just a little extra slice to make it just a little bit more personal. The last undisputed heavyweight champion was Lennox Lewis. But Tyson Fury is very aware of that, which is why he's thrown little slight jabs in passively against Lennox Lewis in the past because he sees him as direct competition, historically speaking. He needs to at least match that. If Lennox Lewis was the undisputed heavyweight champion and you want to be mentioned as better than him, as having accomplished more than him, as being a better fighter than him, as just dominating your time period and your era more than him, at the very least, you have to go out there and take the belts, snatch the belts up. And he's got that opportunity in front of him right now. There's no way he's going to let this pass. Not to mention it's the biggest payday that either one of them will have seen by a mile. And then on the other hand, you've got Oleksandr Usyk. I mean, if this dude is able to go out there and snatch up the undisputed heavyweight crown after not even starting his career as a heavyweight, how impressive will that be? Where will they elevate him to in the ranks when we speak about him historically and having come up and accomplished all that? Like, that's just going to be something else, especially when you talk about the people that he defeated. When you talk about the people in his era and you're looking at the most feared puncher of all time in Deontay Wilder, and I get that they didn't fight, but he was a guy who was defeated who then he would have defeated Tyson Fury. You know, you look at Anthony Joshua, you look at all of these guys that are out there and all of the things that have happened, and when the dust settles, it'd be Oleksandr Usyk. That'd be an incredible story. Now, all that being said, I'll be the first to admit, man, he's got an uphill battle ahead of him because Tyson Fury's he's a beast, man. That dude is something else. You know, we talk about Usyk being small, and then all of a sudden people want to mention, like, look, he's not really that small of a guy. He's 6'3", 221. He's built solid, and that's true. But he's still going to look really small when he's in there with Tyson Fury, especially if Tyson Fury comes in and he's like 280. Dude's going to be, 5-6 inches taller, 60 pounds heavier. And oh, by the way, very athletic, can move on his feet very well, has very good upper body movement, knows how to pull back from shots, high ring IQ, incredible, with 7-8 inch reach advantage on him. Can handle punches from a guy like Deontay Wilder, so probably isn't too worried about Usyk being able to knock him out. And think about the last fight that we saw with Usyk. Where did he get in trouble? Where did he have difficulties? Because he didn't just go out there and blow Anthony Joshua away. He won that fight, but he didn't blow him out the water. Where did he have trouble? It was when Anthony Joshua applied the pressure. It was when Joshua was able to back him up because he had the reach advantage. When he was able to make that ring smaller, he was able to put Usyk on the back foot to a degree that Usyk wasn't able to get comfortable. Don't get me wrong. Usyk's a phenomenal counterpuncher. Great timing, great distance, understands things well. But if he can't get comfortable, he can't get things going. So if you can apply the type of pressure and you have the reach advantage, you have the height and reach advantage, and you're applying that pressure and you're on your front foot to the point where you never allow him to get settled, never allow him to get in his rhythm, which is difficult. Easier said than done for sure, but if you can do it, like we saw Anthony Joshua do it for spots during that fight, you're going to be able to see some success. You certainly don't want to let the guy get settled and get into a rhythm, get into a flow. That's some uphill swimming right there, trying to beat Usyk at that point. But then think about Tyson Fury. That's the exact type of playbook that he used against Deontay Wilder. Backed him up, made him ugly. Think about what he did against Otto Wallin. When he went in there and put his head in his chest to beat him up. You think Usyk wants to deal with Tyson Fury leaning on him, head in his chest, back against the ropes? You think that's going to be a successful fight for him? One that he's gonna come out victorious? So look, do I want to see this fight? Absolutely. Do I think it's historically important that we're going to see it? Absolutely. But do I think it's going to be, a 50-50 fight going in? Do I think it's going to be even, 60-40 or 70-30? Like, I think Tyson Fury is going to come in as a big favorite, and I think he's earned that designation. Nevertheless, I am super glad that we've now entered the negotiation stage, even though I thought it was going to happen anyways. All the talk about Fury with retirement, it's nice that we're kind of past that and everybody's knows that we're going to get this fight at one point. So really looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Usyk has showed enough that he's going to be able to give Fury trouble? What's he been doing during his retirement? Has he been lackadaisical? Has he been training? If he comes in out of shape, how's he going to look? Will Usyk be able to do something to him then? And when do you think it'll take place? Let me know what you guys think.